A sports science rip-off production. Did you ever wonder what happens to your body when you reach increasingly higher altitudes? Why am I huffing and puffing after a few steps? What happens to athletes competing at these altitudes? And is this altitude stuff beneficial or detrimental? Today, we will help answer your questions about altitude stuff with training and performance up to moderate altitudes. So we'll first define the parameters so everyone knows what we're talking about. We will be discussing the effects of moderate altitude on the human body and the implications of it, so anything below 3,000 meters. So what's next? We will be discussing atmospheric composition and differences in pressure at varying altitudes. And since everyone, has taken Physiology of Fitness with Dr. MILNE, we will briefly refresh your memory on pulmonary diffusion and Fick's law. The atmosphere is composed of many elements, but mostly nitrogen and oxygen. The percentage remains fixed, so wherever you're at, the air we breathe is about 21% oxygen. But the higher into the atmosphere you go, the lower the air pressure. The lower the air pressure, the fewer particles of gas, such as oxygen, are in a given volume. Therefore, there is a decreasing partial pressure of oxygen the higher in altitude you go. Fick's law states that the rate of diffusion through the respiratory membrane is proportional to the surface area and the difference in partial pressures of gas between both sides of the tissue. So, the higher the altitude, the lower the difference of partial pressures. Therefore, a lower than normal concentration of oxygen absorbed into the bloodstream. This phenomenon is known as hypoxia.
There's been all this jibber-jabber about pressure this and oxygen that. So now, how does the body adapt? This hypoxic stimulus increases the release of the glycoprotein hormone, erythropoietin, also known as EPO, from the kidneys. This compensatory mechanism reflects the body's attempt to maintain normal oxygen supply to tissues. As we all know, you can't maintain normal metabolic function for very long without adequate oxygen. EPO release increases the production of red blood cells. This process is known as hematopoiesis. The increase in hematocrit involves a proportional increase in plasma volume, leading to an overall increase in blood volume, improving the body's ability to deliver oxygen to tissues. Professor Megan will now take you through a number of modalities that will examine the physiological effects in the body.
There is live high, train high. There is live low, train high. And the best method is live high, train low. With live high, train low, athletes experience passive hypoxia in altitude-simulated tents or apartments during rest or sleep in order to elicit benefits. Athletes spend typically 8 to 10 hours daily at altitudes ranging from 2,000 to 2,700 meters. And then, regular training is performed at altitudes as close to normal or sea level as possible, typically less than 1,000 meters. With the growing prevalence and popularity of hypoxic facilities, live high, train low has come within reach of most elite athletes and even recreational athletes, making it the current dominant mode of altitude training.
This concludes a sports science rip-off production. We hope that you are now able to use this knowledge and apply these methods to make the most of these natural adaptations. Up the altitude and up your game. Now, you know.
Skeletal muscles are important. This is plain to see. Now get up off your high knees. Come and dance with me. Skeletal muscles are important. This is plain to see. Now get up off your high knees. Come and dance with me.
There are three types of energy systems: aerobic, anaerobic and phosphagen. But out of these only aerobic needs oxygen. So for long distances you would use that one then. When starting exercise I mostly go oxygen free, because I produce ATP anaerobically. This intense exercise I burn mostly carbohydrates, which enters into muscle as glucose 6-phosphate. And when I go for walks I know I'm mostly burning fat, which makes my rock hard body even easier to look at.